Hi, my name is Kai Armstrong. I'm the product manager for the editor group of the Create stage here at GitLab, and I'm here to talk about the upcoming GitLab 13.4 release and what the editor group's going to be working on. So I'm going to share my screen. We'll dive through a few issues and kind of update progress on a few of the other things we've been working on. So let me get that started here. What we've got up on the screen right now is the planning board that we're using. It's broken up by our backend, front end, and UX teams and what they'll be working on. And so I just wanted to highlight a couple things sort of broadly in here. We're working on a couple bugs inside of the WebID, and one of these in particular that I wanted to highlight was based on a feature we just released. So we've just released a feature for real-time feedback for editing the GitLab CI YAML file inside of the WebID. Unfortunately, we pulled it from a third party, and so we've got on GitLab.com, there's a sort of a CORS or CSP issue with accessing that content. So we'll be fixing that bug in 13.4. It should deploy to GitLab.com, I think, relatively early, and so we'll get that resolved and get that feature back on track. It's highlighted some other things as we've continued to work through custom schema that we might be supporting and some others. So we've got some ideas on how to fix that, but sort of an important bug to keep progressing along here. The next thing I want to talk about was snippets from multiple files. We've talked about snippets with multiple files for several releases now and how that's coming up for the editor group. In 13.4, we're actually expecting to be able to turn on the feature flag that would enable this feature on GitLab.com so we can begin sort of testing and getting some additional feedback or seeing if there's other things that aren't working like we expect. I don't think we'll turn that feature flag on by default for GitLab self-manage, but the bulk of the code that's required to do this should be inside of the package release. So if you wanted to try that when you're in self-manage, you may be able to do that at the end of 13.4. We'll update this progress section here in the epic for snippets of multiple files, and I'll link all of this below in this video, but you'll be able to take a look. Some of the things I think we've gone over before is sort of what the edit fields will look like for when you're doing this and what that might look like for up to 10 files, and sort of how that'll be rendered out. And so, like I mentioned, we're nearing the end of this. Looks like we'll be able to test in 13.4. So I'm really excited about this. I think this is sort of that next level of things that we've been trying to get across the board with snippets, and being so close feels really good on that. Another one that I wanted to highlight that we've been working on sort of in the background over the last several releases is changing out our editor for what we're calling Editor Lite, which is based on Monaco for sort of all of our editing experiences inside of GitLab. And so historically, GitLab has had two different technologies that represented our editor. One technology was used in the WebID, and one technology was used in sort of other single file areas. We're moving all of that to be based on the technology that our WebID uses so that we can extend some of the features that we've built for the WebID specifically back into these other editing experiences across GitLab. So you'll start to see this take place as we look at how we could refine editing experiences for GitLab CI or editing experiences inside of merge requests and other things like that. So if you're interested in reading about sort of where we're thinking our editor is going to go, I'll put a link to the WebID strategy below this video and you can see, but this is sort of a foundational piece to get us there. And so we've already done this for the snippets editor. We've done it for the blob editor, so the main kind of single file editing experience that you might experience in a repository. And then the last place we've got, which we'll be tackling in 13.4, is in the CI/CD edit path. So if you were to try and go into the pipelines view in lint, that's where you would find this editor. And this editor, we've talked about it multiple times. There will be another in the 13.3 release post that talks about it again. And this is really, it brings sort of syntax highlighting preferences and some code completion and intelligence around some languages, and better highlight support for other languages that you might be using. And so all around, it's a really much better editing experience. And we're excited to get this baselined across the entire GitLab application. The last thing I want to talk about was implementing the WebID button in the diff tab of a merge request. And so this is a very small iteration that we're taking to sort of make the WebID more present in merge requests. And we've got plans to further integrate the WebID and merge requests. Like I said, those will be in the direction page that I'll link down below this video. But this is sort of a a baby step of getting the WebID more present there. And what we'll be doing here is adding a WebID button, and you can see that here on the diff tab. And so if you had a merge request today, the only way to actually open the WebID is to go to the overview, scroll through the description, and find that WebID button. But oftentimes when you're reviewing a merge request or looking at feedback for a merge request, or you want to go make that review, the context of sort of all of those files and all of the changes that you need to make are really important. And a good way to see that can be in the WebIDs, particularly if you want to make a change or add an edit, if you might be collaborating or that, or you're the original author of an MR. And so once you're in the diff view, being able to scroll or being able to quickly access that WebID button and open an editor where you can make those changes, we think that's a really great first step to making that, that experience more tightly integrated. So that's what the editor group has coming up for 13.4. You can also check out what we've got 13.3. That release post will be coming out on the 22nd of this month. So excited to see everything in GitLab 13.3. But I'll put links to everything that we've talked about in the video down below. And if you have feedback on anything, please feel free to reach out. There's contact information on all the direction pages, or you can find me on gitlab.com. Thanks.